All right, we're going to get right to it today. We're going to bring you guys our top do's and don'ts that we incorporate into our marriage that make things go pretty smooth, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This time around.
Yeah. All right, so one of our first ones is a don't. Don't make assumptions. So making assumptions for us has sometimes caused a lot of problems because sometimes you assume that somebody said something and it's not really what they said. I'm not a mind reader. Summer's not a mind reader. So if there's something on our mind, it's not the other person's job or responsibility to try to figure that out. Or if there's something on our minds that we want each other to know, we don't just wait. We tell each other now.
I definitely have a lot of, and I'm sure you do too, most people do, a lot of insecurities. And so a lot of times I think I hear him saying something that he's really not saying. So now I found that I repeat back to him what I hear you saying is, and then he can correct me that that's not what he's saying.
True. Sometimes what I say is not exactly what Summer hears.
Yeah.
And I take accountability for that sometimes because my tone just naturally sometimes can be a little sharp. Even if I'm in a great mood and I'm happy as can be. Sometimes the way that I say things come off a little harsh or aggressive and Summer might take those personally. Like I'm gearing those towards you. Sometimes I catch myself, but sometimes I don't.
You catch yourself a lot more lately, I think. Yeah. Next up is a big do for us. Me and Jay are best friends.
Aww.
We really do enjoy spending.
Does it mean like BFFs?
Yeah, definitely.
You're my BFF.
We definitely enjoy spending most all of our time together, but I think over the years we've definitely found that we need our own time. We need our own space. We need to hang out with our own friends, do something that we like, whether it's a hobby or just being by ourselves sometimes or hanging out with the kids or whatever. We definitely need time apart to miss each other.
Yeah, I can't stand being away from Summer. On the other hand, I know I got to get out. I like getting out by myself. I like meeting my friends. I like going fishing. I like doing stuff where I can just kind of...
But we do love spending time together.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need a break. Don't lose yourself in your marriage. Stay true to who you are.
Yeah, stay true to who you are. Did we write that down?
We did not.
That was good. You just threw that in there. Go best friend. Go best friend. Here's a big one for us that it used to be a bigger problem. It's really not a problem now. It's don't bring up past fights. And when I say that, I mean don't bring up past fights in an argument. We definitely have our fair share of past fights when we were divorced.
Yeah, true.
And we can talk about the past and problems or issues that may arise, but in the heat of the moment when we're in an argument or a conflict, bringing up past fights is like a huge no-no for us.
Especially
it's
when you get over it. Like when you're already over it.
Well, yeah. It's almost like you're just bringing up past fights is like throwing jabs at each other.
Yeah.
It's low blow after low blow. You did this one time, and we've learned that it gets us absolutely nowhere. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't still happen. We're both guilty of still throwing jabs at times, I think. When you get the heat of the moment, some of these things just kind of slip away from you.
It's hard not to sometimes, but it definitely doesn't help.
So after a fight, we really try to sort it out, hash it out, and make sure it's nothing that could come back up again, or if there's a reason for it to come back up again.
Yeah.
Because if we got it sorted out pretty good, there's usually not a reason for it to come back up again.
Yeah.
And now I feel like any of the fights are pretty, like, who lost the remote?
Yeah, they're kind of silly.
And it's usually
fights.
you, too,
All right, next up, do say you're sorry.
Ooh.
That's a tough one because we're both very stubborn.
Very stubborn.
Yeah. But I think we've both come to realize that when one of us says sorry or admits when we've done something wrong, the other one pretty quickly gets on board with admitting their fault as well.
Yeah.
And when we both hold out, we both hold out.
It's pretty much taking accountability.
Yeah.
If there's an argument or a conflict, one of us, if not both of us, sometimes are going to be wrong.
Yeah.
Somebody was in a bad mood. Somebody made a mistake. Someone said something they should have.
Somebody lost the remote.
Someone lost the remote. Accept your apology. Is that what that means?
Yeah.
What is the remote? It is a good feeling when Summer apologizes.
I was going to say that about you. Oh. It feels good when you say sorry. I really do appreciate a sorry goes a long way. It really does. So I appreciate that. Even sometimes when you're not sorry. Like if it's something silly.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like if it's just something silly and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sorry that I did that. And in my head I'm thinking, I'm really...
So you're lying when you apologize?
No, but I mean, just sometimes it's just not worth it. If it's something so silly, like the remote, like, oh, sorry, I put that in the other, whatever. Sometimes it's just easier to just say sorry. you know?
You're losing me. Did you know you lost the remote, right?
Cut that out.
You want to try it?
Make sure you hit that like button. There you go.
Hey, if you guys are enjoying this video, look down there, hit that like button for us. It really helps out the channel, really helps out the video.
He does better at the talking stuff. He's got a good memory. He knows what to say.
Yeah, hit the like button. Do support each other. This goes through like so many avenues, but one of the biggest ones for us is parenting. So before we can be good parents, we have to be like a solid team. Our team has to come before anything else. And we have to make decisions together. So there might be disagreements in our parenting styles because we parent our kids very, very differently. I mean, we parent them alike, but we have very different.
We grew up differently.
We grew up different, and we just have different parenting styles.
Yeah.
I guess you could say. But the problem comes in is when it's time to discipline a child, and one of us disagrees with that. The sticking together part comes with not disagreeing in front of people. Yeah. It has to be something that we kind of take a back seat and we talk about together.
Take that time to separate yourself from the moment with each other and get on board with each other before you're confronting that child. Talk about it first.
And that goes like, it even goes out with family, friends, wherever if we're out, if we're at a holiday or wherever we're at. If someone's picking on Summer and disagreeing, or someone vice versa with me, we support each other. We might not get into that battle with them, right, but we're not going to throw fuel on the fire against them. You know?
Right.
Even if we don't agree with what they're saying, that's
in
something.
In that moment, back each other up.
Yeah, that's a pretty big thing.
Every time you look at me, I feel like I need to look at you. Okay, this one is one that I'm very, very guilty of. Don't say always and never. I've been doing that for a long time, and I think recently I've kind of broken that habit, but when we're in an argument, I like to say, you always do this, or you never do this. And obviously that's not true. It's not always and never. So just take those words out of your vocabulary because they do not help anybody.
That's a huge trigger because it almost makes, when you hear those words, you always do this or you never do that, it gives you a feeling of feeling inadequate.
Well, like they've never appreciated anything,
right? So
that you've ever, right, any other situation like that. If you're saying right, always and never, it's just
they're triggers. Yeah, it gives you a feeling of feeling not good enough because you either always do the same negative thing or you never do this good thing or whatever the topic.
Problems are still going to come up. And conflict is still going to happen in our marriage. So when I say you always do this or you never do this, then that's all the problems that we've had. That's basically saying I haven't gotten over any of those, or I haven't, we haven't gotten through any of those problems. So just, we avoid saying that.
So before we go any further, I just want to share with you guys that we're not professionals. We don't have degrees in counseling. We are just two people that got divorced and remarried. So we kind of focused on things that we really needed to do that help our marriage. So these are all things that help us out. Will they help other people out? Maybe, probably. They should. I mean, they work for us. But it's been a lot of trial and error with us to come up with this whole list of do's and don'ts. So I want to get that out there. We're not telling you foolproof, factual information that will work for everybody.
Hopefully for others too, but it works for us.
Yeah. Oh, here's a good do. Do show affection and intimacy. We're not going to stick long on this because the kids watch this video and probably their friends and other kids and all this stuff, but
they're probably cringing and listening upstairs right now.
But just affection in general can be as much as holding each other's hands, walking somewhere, or a back scratch as we're, walking through the store.
I mean, I remember I don't remember, but I try to remember every morning when he gets up for work at like 4 a.m, he gives me a kiss goodbye. Sometimes I'll text him and be like, why didn't you kiss me goodbye? He's like, I did, but I was half asleep. But those moments are important to me.
At least you didn't say you never. It's just little things, and they go a long way. I mean, I notice all the little things, and I feel like Summer does too. So you got to make that effort to have that affection. Robin, my
Yeah, showing you affection.
And for the intimacy part, it's just we try to communicate. We just stay open with each other on where we're at and what our needs are, and we'll leave it at that, right?
Yeah. All right, last one is do show appreciation. I can't explain how important that is for us. We definitely make sure that we go out of our way to constantly tell each other thank you. I can tell you, for me, it means so much when Jay thanks me or just tells me, hey, I noticed you did this. it really means a lot to me to know that he's paying attention and that he appreciates it. So that's a big one for me, is appreciation.
I can tell.
I think you do a good job of it, but I feel like I like to hear it.
She likes to hear it.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't, she'll say, "Did you notice that I did this?"
I'll let him know.
Like, yeah, I did. I don't have my shoes off yet, though. But I was going to tell you that I noticed.
He does a good job, but I definitely try to remind him 5 seconds before he was about to thank me.
I know it's good to let Summer know that she's appreciated. Which she is, man. I appreciate everything that she does. I mean, we each do a whole lot of stuff that we probably don't even know or tell each other, you know?
Yeah. So when the other person notices, it's important.
Sometimes we do a lot of stuff because it's just stuff that we're supposed to do. So we don't even, sometimes I don't even think about, oh, did she see? Did she see? And then when you do see that and tell me, then I'm like, oh, man.
It makes me feel good to know that Jay appreciates me.
Well, we hope you guys liked a little bit of us sharing our do's and don'ts that make us work. It's been a long process for us to figure out
what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, it's honestly been a roller coaster over the last, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years of, back from the beginning, but especially more so over the last 5 years or so, to rebuild a marriage and try to make it work a second time. We really had to evaluate why things didn't work in the first place.
Right.
And a lot of these do's and don'ts that we shared with you guys today are why some of the things didn't work for us in the first place. So we knew that correcting those things was going to really bring us.
And it's not like super quick and super fast to change behaviors, but it's taken us a couple of years, like you said, to get to where we are. And I feel like the list of things that we just gave you, I feel like we're pretty good at it right now. Yeah. But it took a while.
And the thing is, if we're not good at it and something is changing, we can tell each other no. And we know how to approach it. But that is all we got. So we hope you guys liked that video. Hey, until our next video, we'll see you guys later.
On the road, it's been so long I don't